Okay, good morning all. Welcome to second week of the summer program on additive manufacturing. So today we have Mr. Amit Jadhav from Renishaw, India. So Renishaw is one of the top companies in meteorology and other verticals. So they are into additive manufacturing. I have seen their metal 3D printing machine during Indo-UK Tech Summit at Delhi a few years back. And there I met Mr. Sanjay Sangam. Uh, and I was having his card, so I contacted him and he basically requested Mr. Amit to deliver a talk. So I welcome Amit
Thank you, sir.
to this summer program. Yeah, so thank you very much for sparing time. So Amit will now take over, but I want to announce that if there are any questions, the students can keep on typing in the chat box. So if he finds convenient to answer during the session, he will do so. Otherwise, the questions will be taken up at the end of the session. Okay,
Yes, sir.
Amit, you can now take over.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the warm welcome. Uh, Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Amit Zadav. I am representing Renishaw India. I'm looking after the Renishaw's additive manufacturing sales in India. Total 10 years of experience in additives. Before starting the presentations, I hope my voice is audible and my screen is visible. If it is not, just drop your message in the chat box so that I'll try to reconnect it. And then you can see my screen. Okay, well, we'll start the presentation. During this presentation, we'll see what exactly the Renishaw is, what's our core business, why Renishaw, then what is 3D printing. Specifically, we'll look after the metal 3D printing, what exactly metal it is, how it is affected in current applications, what is the use of 3D printing in metal. We see the process, entire process. I'll explain you during the presentations. Process chain, how it flows from the CAD model to the final finished parts. We'll quick overview the benefits of 3D printing, factors considered for metal 3D printing. I'll also focus on some metal 3D printing application, which is widely used nowadays. And then last but not the least, what are our offerings in a few slides. So this is about Renishaw. Renishaw's core business is a metrology and the inspections. Apart from the additives, Renishaw's main business is a metrology, where quality requires. The Renishaw has their own products like CMM measurements probes and machine tool probes, gauging systems. Apart from that, we also manufacture one product called Raman spectroscopy for to detect the chemical composition of the in pharmaceutical industries, for example medicine or the tablets. For detection of that composites, we have manufactured the product called Raman spectroscopy, which is widely used in the pharmaceutical industries. Apart from that, we also manufacture the robotic arms for delivery of the drugs in critical operations. And our apart from all this, we also manufacture the machine in additive manufacturing in metal. Specifically, we don't deal in the plastic. In metal, we have started our journey in 2011 when Renishaw bought one company in the UK called MTT Technologies, who were in metal 3D printing for last 20 years. And then Renishaw bought this company, and since then 2011 we started manufacturing the machine in the UK. So Renishaw is FTSE 250 public company. Our manufacturing facilities are UK, Ireland, and partially in India. More than 5,000 staff in 35 countries. So we'll start the presentation with the 3D printing. This is a basic definition from the Wikipedia. 3D printing is nothing but any 3D CAD models when you design in the computer and you get the physical appearance through the machines. You call it the 3D printing. Nowadays, 3D printing is also known. This is a basic example of metal 3D printing. 3D printing is also known as additive manufacturing, is exactly reverse of the subtractive. Why additive? Because it's an addition of the layer one over the other. So rapid prototyping, 3D printing, additive manufacturing, these are the few terminologies of 3D printing. Nowadays, it's very popular. Plastic is almost reaches each and every home. But metals, yes, Indian market is nowadays, Indian market is maturing day by day, and people are start using and taking advantage of metal 3D printing across the across the applications. I will also go through the application later on the slides. So 3D printing is nothing but the additive manufacturing. When you design something, you will get exactly the same components, exactly the same component with same dimensions from the machines without any manual intervention. That is what it is called, the additive manufacturing. So this is the basic things. There are two differentiate in 3D printing. One is a polymer, one is a metal. Polymer, I hope everyone is aware about the polymer 3D printing, or many of you have seen the metal 3D printing as well. In polymer, the popular technologies are there, which are very popular nowadays, and each and every manufacturing has manufacture their machine on the basis of this technology. I'm sure there are hardly any technology which is not mentioned here and which can be used widely. So in polymer also, there are four major technologies. On the basis of that, manufacturer has manufactured their machine. Fuse deposition modeling, where raw material is in the wire form, it get fused with the high temperature, and then layer by layer manufacturing will happen. Selective laser sintering. I hope you are aware that selective laser sintering is in powder and laser based technology. And then stereolithography. Apart from that, inkjet technology now. Stratasys has already launched that technology a long time back, but now with some new innovations and new technology, HP has launched their machine in polyjet technology, or you can say inkjet technology, where raw material gets sprayed on the bed, and with the help of UV light, it gets sintered. It gets sintered and then solidified. In metal, similarly like plastic, metal also represent few technology like selective laser melting, short form is SLM, or direct metal laser sintering, or laser powder bed fusion. The terminologies are different, but if you can see, the technology are almost similar. SLM, DMLS, and LPBF. Most of the time, people are using the short form SLM, DMLS, and LPBF. The terminologies are the different, but technologies are similar. In that, raw material is a mostly powder form. It is in the powder form. It gets fused with the high voltage laser, with the high voltage power laser, and then layer by layer manufacturing will happen. Similarly, electron beam additive manufacturing is also there, in which energy source are there and some powder form or wire form get solidified, get melted and solidified simultaneously with the energy source. That is the reason it's called electron beam. A high voltage electron beam is used, maybe 1000 watt or more than that. This is the technology. Each technology has their own advantages and their disadvantages. I'm not saying that any technology is superior and rest of
Gaurav,
the
Amit,
technology.
you are not audible.
Uh, am I audible now? Am I audible now, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
You
sir. Yes, sir.
audible.
You are audible.
Okay. Um, I'll explain you again. Selective laser sintering. I'm not saying that each technology is a superior and rest of the technologies are not up to the mark. Each technology has their own pros and cons, positive points and negative points. You need to understand the application from where which technologies need to use. For example, if any repair works is there and the volume is more, the size is more, then I'll not go with the selective laser melting. I'll not go with SLM. I'll go with EBAM or direct energy deposition, where repair work is more than the new production work. If my volume is less, my size is less, and my uh, component cost is a huge, then I'll definitely go with SLM because of the precision, accuracy, and all that things. So we'll go through the metal technology. I'm sure you all are aware about the fuse deposition modeling and plastic technology. But during the course, if you want to know more about the polymer as well, then please feel free to ask. This presentation, I'll basically speak on the metal. Polymer you can find out anywhere. There are thousands of machines and thousands of users are there where you can easily get interacted with the polymer users. But metal, there are very selected peoples are there in India. If you can ask me, the numbers is less than 100 till the date. Why? Because India has using this technology. India started using this technology very late as compared to the rest of the user in the world. But I'm sure India is going to be the extensive user of metal 3D printing. There is vast applications and the vast use of technology. And we'll see during the presentation what exactly it is. Like plastic, you also design the part, then you print, you give that input to the machines, and then you start manufacturing the parts, and then you remove the parts and remove the support. In metal also, two factors are considered: support structure and the actual material. Support is a less than 10%, you can say, depends on how you orient the part. So when you design the part, the process from the designing of the part, once you design, save it into the STL. Like plastic, metal also accept the STL data. In fact, all the 3D printing technology, at the end you need to convert into the STL language, STL format. Instead of you design the part in any other format, whatever it would be, you need to convert into the STL, and then you give this input to the machine software. In machine software, it get program. You will get the number of layers and number of hours, number of materials, how much material it requires to manufacture the part. And then you start the process in the machine. Once it is done, you remove the part, measure it how it is done, measure it as per your dimension, it is not, or no, it is printed as per your dimension, or you need to machine it out. Then you do the machining, remove the unwanted materials, remove the support structures, and final parts comes out from the machine. So this is a basic flow, remains same throughout all the metal technologies. So DMLS, again, the definition from the Wikipedia, DMLS is the process where laser source solidify the powder, and then layer by layer manufacturing will happen as per your CAD data. I'll just play the video. Please let me know if you're not visible, if this is not visible. This video has no sound. This is our multi-laser sintering machines, which is high-end machines, but the terminology remains same, technology remains same. See this video for 3D printing. We have shooted this video from our machine only. So I'll just play the video. How the sintering done? There is a layer of powder we have spread it across the platform, and then sintering happens with the 4 lasers simultaneously. You can define the layer thickness as per your requirement from 20 micron to 100 micron. Between that, you can select the layer thickness as per the profile and as per your requirement of the part accuracy. Again, the new layer will come and the process will continue. Now, in this video, I will explain you from the start to the complete removal of the parts, how the machine works, so that you will understand easily. I believe seeing is believing. That is the reason I am playing this video. How the powder get deposited to the machines, how it's spreaded on the platform, how the laser works, and how we remove the parts. By seeing this video, most of your doubt get clear, and later on I will explain you. So from the backside of the machine, from here, powder get loaded to the machine. Whatever the powder means, aluminum, stainless steel, nickel alloy, titanium, cobalt chrome, whatever the desired material you required, you just put that powder into the machines. So this is a hopper. Backside of the machine, we load the powder to the machine. We feed the powder to the machine through this flask. During the entire process, we do not expose to the powder. Means our powder does not get exposed to the external environment. So it does not get oxidized, and you will get a better mechanical properties and better quality of the parts. This is a basic view of the chamber. Now substrate get placed into the machine. 250 by 250 is a bed size and height is a 250 mm. On that substrate, now machine software is just preparing the CAD data. It converted into the number of slice and support. We need to generate into the machine. Then we give this input to the machine. Machine ensure that all the levels of gases inside the machine. We remove the oxygen from the machine. This is a chamber preparation because to avoid the oxidation of the powder with we remove all the oxygen from the machine, and then we purge the argon gas to maintain the purity during the manufacturing of process. So argon gas get flows. We deposited minimum 900 liter argon to avoid the oxidation during the process and to maintain the oxygen level minimum. This is a basic principle of 3D printing technology in metal. In plastic, you does not require all these things. Yes, in SLS it required, but in other technology it does not require. And then through the laser source, it will start manufacturing. A recruiter spread the 30 micron layer on the platform. Laser gets sintered as per the geometry of the CAD part. And this process continue till the completion of the part. Every time the bed get lowered by 30 micron or desired height of the build. The excess powder get collected into the collector, and again we used to sieve that powder. We remove the unwanted material from that collection, and fine powder is again reused for the next build. If you can ask me, the wastage is very minimal in this process. And again we continue the process. So this process is continued till the complete of the part. Now we see the AM deployment, where AM is a beneficial or where it has used so far. The deployment of the additive manufacturing in metal. Most of the time people are using the additive manufacturing in metal for this application, rapid prototyping and tooling. Then direct part replacement. This is one of the unique application in metal 3D printing, where the volume is less, and if you want to manufacture those things, and your overall production cost is a huge, because just imagine for 10 to 50 numbers, no one can give you the dies and molds. No one can manufacture for you only for this less volume, unless it is very unique. But in this case, you can use the part directly through the metal 3D printing. You design the particular part if your volume is less, and directly use the same thing onto the actual vehicle or the engine. So that is why it is called as a direct part replacement. Part consolidation. For example, in conventional way, if you want to manufacture a 5 to 6 parts, and then you need to assemble it through nuts and bolts, and if you are able to design the entire assembly in a single part, then you can print or manufacture the entire assembly without addition of the number of parts. As a single part, you can print through the metal manufacturing. And the last but not the least, DFAM optimize. DFAM stands for design for additive manufacturing. Nowadays, most of the times in aerospace industry or automotive industry, people are using the design for AM to manufacture their conventional part, to reduce the overall costing of the part and to minimize the time. So these are the best application where AM is used nowadays. Part consolidation and the DFAM optimize. How it is, then I will show you in the next slide. See, if I selected my component for the metal 3D printing, then my product get benefited with the less weight. Again, faster product launching. Let's say I design in the morning, in the evening while going home, you just give this input to the machine. In the midnight, machine will print that part. In the next morning, you will get the part in your hand. This is the main benefit of the 3D printing. Then product reliability is there. Whatever you have designed, you will get exactly the same. Whatever the parameter you set during your design the part, then exactly you will get the same part with all the parameters. Higher performance. In fact, metal 3D printing is one of the reliable technology where you will get the higher performance than any other technology. Product attraction is there. You can design the part whatever the things you weigh. You can design whatever the things you decided to design. It's not like, see, in conventional manufacturing, designer thinks the manufacturing capability with respect to the final manufacturing. He designed the part in that way. So he need to consider on which machine he need to manufacture. For example, 3 axis or 5 axis, he need to understand the constraint of conventional manufacturing. But in the metal 3D printing, there is no any limitation. You can get the parts, whatever the design comes in your mind, you will get exactly the same part. So like conventional manufacturing, in metal 3D printing there is no any limitation. Limitations are there, but there are different constraints than the conventional one. For example, metal 3D printing is also have some constraint like size and the complexity of the parts. Because once you manufacture the part, you need to remove the support as well. If it is self-supported, then well and fine. As long as it is self-supported or a DFAM, you will get whatever you desire. But if there is a constraint of removing the support structure, then you cannot manufacture those parts. And size. So far, as per my knowledge, less than 500 you can manufacture in the 3D printing machine. But more than 500, I haven't seen any machine which is having the bed size and the machine is running in India or any of in the world in 3D printing in SLM specifically. So less than 500 is economical as well. If your application is allowing you, for example, your part is around 1000 and you want to manufacture that part through metal AM, because volume is only one. No one can give you the conventional manufacturing will be very expensive for that part, and you want to shortlist that part for metal AM. But due to size limitation, if it is not possible in metal AM, in this case, if your application allowing you, then split that part into the number of halves, make it into the number of pieces, and then later on you can weld that part, and or you can combine that part through nuts and bolts. It is possible, and we have already did this exercise in our Pune center. So that things is possible. Means sizes, hardly sizes, I see size is not that much of limitations. Production, less material you required. With respect to the conventional manufacturing, your actual use of the part is 10%. 90% is your wastage. Here it is exactly the reverse. Here your actual material is 10%, and the rest of the wastage it does not require. Wastage is only 10% for the with compared to the actual part. Tooling cost, no tooling is required, no dies, no molds is required. Shorter process time is there. Lead time is again shorter, because in-house also you can manufacture the part. You need not rely on the external supplier to manufacture your part. Factors considered for metal 3D printing. In polymer, in plastic, thousands of materials are readily available and easily available, and more or less people can buy it from the local market. You can buy your spool, or you can buy the powder from the local market, and immediately you process, because risk is minimum. If at all your part is not up to the mark in polymer, you can throw that part and print the next one, because cost is very less. In metal it's not like that. Material availability is the essential thing in metal 3D printing. There are around you can say less than 50 metals are available all over the world. Scientists are researching the new materials day in day out. But so far, as per my knowledge, 20 to 30 materials are readily available for printing. Again, material selection is depend on your final requirement. You cannot take the any raw materials and process into the metal machine, because so many factors are considered. For example, weldability and the melting properties of the material is essential things in the metal 3D printing. If you are not able to weld the material, then there is no use of that raw material. If if you are not able to weld, or if you are not able to weld the powder, then there is no use. So that is the reason. So far, stainless steel, aluminum, nickel alloy, cobalt chrome, titanium are a widely used material in the industry. Apart from that, if any materials are there, then you can anytime you can research it on and make available that material for the applications. Geometrical aspects, you also need to consider the support structure, how to remove the supports from the actual part, because support is anyhow it's the actual material. Only thing is that while printing the support structure, you need a less power as compared to the actual part manufacturing. That is the reason bonding is less in support structure, so you can easily remove that support structure from the part. For example, in FDM, you put that part, you can remove the support by hand, or in Stratasys machine you can put that part into the ultrasonic tank, and through the chemical it gets separated. In metal it's not like that. You have to remove the support through manual only. You have to remove through machining only. You cannot put into the chemical tank and then it gets separated. So that is the thing. You need to understand how to orient the part in the metal 3D printing is the essential thing. You will get as per your expertise. When you learn the technology, then you will understand how you orient the part, how the support get minimum. Then and only then you can understand these things. Otherwise, any fresher or any new user of this technology, he will see any parts cannot possible in metal 3D printing. What? Because of his knowledge. It's not like that. If you get expertise, if you get more knowledge in 3D printing, then you can able to manufacture the most of the parts in 3D printing. You can orient in a such a way where you can remove the support. The tool can reaches to the each and every part of the actual component, and then you separate the support part from the machine actual part. Size and number of the parts. Size and number of the parts, I mean, size is restricted to the 250 by 250 by 350, or max to max it is 400 mm. It's not more than that. If it is more than that, you need to find out the different technology to manufacture that part, or you need to manufacture through conventional manufacturing. Because for example, your part is a 250 by 250 by 350 mm, and you want to manufacture that part through the metal 3D printing, then believe me, the cost of that would be huge expensive, around 30 to 25 to 30 lakh rupees. So you just imagine, instead of manufacturing that part through this technology, it's very expensive. Otherwise, you just drop this idea to manufacture through that technology and you find out the some alternatives. So that is the limitation. Again, number of the parts. This technology is not suitable for production of the part. In some cases, plastic technology can be suitable for the some thousands of the part or a 2000 of the part if the sizes are small. But in metal, it's not like that. You can go up to the 100 numbers, max to max 200, 300 numbers, but not beyond that. Extreme case, if the parts are very small and can occupy 100 parts in a one build or one go, or 200 parts in a one go, then you can think about the 1000 numbers. But again, depends on the your time. If time is less, then you can definitely go through the 3D printing. Application. A final application plays the essential role in metal 3D printing as well. If the parts what you have printed in metal 3D printing, if it is not useful for your final application, then there is no use of using this technology. That then and only then you need to understand whether, for example, you have manufactured any aerospace nozzle. If it is not going to perform as per your expectation, then this is wrong application. You need to understand the application first. What is the final use of the part? For example, we used to manufacture engine casing of the two-wheeler car, two-wheeler engine casing of the two-wheeler, but volume is less. That is the reason we have shortlisted that application. If you want to manufacture only 10 engine case, then no one will give you the that 10 cases through sand casting or any other process, because casting cost would be huge. That is the reason, if you want to manufacture only 10 number or 15 number without casting, you can get through the metal 3D printing. Cost required to produce the part. Cost is again, as I said, if your part of the cost is 15-20 lakh rupees, then no one will afford this technology. As long as cost is affordable, then and only then you can select this technology. As I said, metal additive manufacturing is the best suitable for high value and the less volume parts, where your volume is very less and cost is very high. Then and only then you can use this technology. See, if you are the industry which are using, apart from that, there are so many industries which are already using the 3D printing, but I have shortlisted the few important things. Automotive, aerospace, tooling and dies, medical and healthcare, defense and security, education and research. We'll see one by one what are the different applications in automotive. Hundreds of application in automotive industry. I'm trying to cover a few of them because of the time limitations and your understanding. So I have shortlisted some applications. Just see. So we have manufactured a nozzle tip of this supersonic car because volume is less and it's a unique application. In conventional, you will not get that much of angle and that much of finish in conventional manufacturing. You imagine this car able to perform 1,000 miles per hour. The titanium, we have used the titanium material to manufacture the nozzle tip of this supersonic car. If I want to manufacture this thing in a conventional way, it would be a nightmare. So that is the reason this is a unique application. Like if you want to manufacture a limited edition car, and the uniqueness of the car is like it need to perform in a certain way where the weight of the overall car is a very vital. That is, in that case, you can select to manufacture in a less weight to reduce the weight. In titanium, 3D printing in titanium is very easy because it gets solidified and you will get part out of the machine. But no one will touch that part in conventional manufacturing because of the wastage. Titanium is very expensive. It's not day in day out material. It's very expensive, and to cut the titanium is a challenging. It's very challenging to cut the titanium. So most of the times the manufacturer avoid to manufacture the things in titanium because of their wastage, and it require number of tools to cut that materials, and again the accuracy. So that is the reason 3D printing in titanium is very useful. So Bloodhound is a UK company, UK startup, has decided to manufacture the nozzle tip of their car through this technology. So we have manufactured in our UK facility. Again, the design for additive manner, there is a concept called, again it's a car hinge of car hinge, it's a door hinge of the car. Again, it's a concept car. We have manufactured this in aluminum. If you can see the part, in this part you will understand one thing: it does not require support. We have optimized the entire part in Dassault system. There is a software from the Dassault system. So it's a joint venture between the Renishaw and the Dassault systems and the concept car Blue. We have decided to manufacture this door hinge through metal additive manufacturing because there was very less space was there, and again the weight of the part needs to be very less. So we have manufactured in vertical directions where it does not require any support. But I believe that in conventional manufacturing you cannot maintain this angle and it's very difficult to manufacture. So in this case we only manufacture 5 to 6 number, so you can easily manufacture through this technology. It is an aluminum, very lightweight with compared to the conventional, and very unique in the application. Again, the Moog is a leading aerospace manufacturer. We have designed this actuator, or you can say hydraulic manifold, you can say, through this. Because of the intricate shape, we are not able to manufacture the conventional manufacturing. So we have decided to manufacture through 3D printing. Again, this Indian manufacturer, we have manufactured this combustion engine in Inconel 625, where layer thickness was 46, layers was 4,600, and build time was 22 hours. In our Pune facility, we have manufactured this part for aerospace industries. Like this, if your volume is less, you can select any component within that dimension. You will easily get the part out of the machine. Topology optimization. Topology optimization nowadays playing an important role in 3D printing. Design for additive manufacturing is one concept and topology optimization is one concept. If you can see, this is a bracket of satellite. You can see there are a honeycomb structure inside the inside that part. So we have analyzed this thing with the help of Altair and Materialize. Altair software is there and Materialize software to optimize the to complete parts. We have optimized this part in such a way where it requires the load or a stress. We have solidified that region, but rest of the structure we have done the honeycomb structure because of it bear the minimum load as compared to the solid one. So that is the reason you can see this is a honeycomb structure and very lightweight. So this possible only in 3D printing. You can't even imagine to manufacture through 3D printing in conventional manufacturing. So this is a spider bracket. As compared to the conventional design, this was entirely different and the overall weight was reduced around 75%. So just imagine in a satellite, if you are able to reduce 100-gram weight of the overall satellite, then still it's a worth of 1 CR or 2 CR. So we have saved almost 70% weight. So imagine how much cost we were able to save. So you need to understand the shortlisting criteria. That is the essential thing. If you are able to understand the shortlisting criteria, then sky is the limit for this technology. Tooling and dies. In India, I have observed one thing. This is the sector which is growing very rapidly. Tooling sector, where In conventional tooling, most of the times the cooling channels are either it is an x-axis or a y-axis, or it's not very close to the profile, because it's a manufacturing limitations. It's a conventional manufacturing limitation. Any tool designer, he will design in a such a way that he should able to manufacture through conventional way. Otherwise, he will not design the part. But let's say that designer, if you ask him, design whatever way you think, whatever the way you think, you design your inserts. But only thing is that I need a better quality parts, and I need my mold should get cool within less second. So he will design cooling channels in along with the profile of the part, so that you can avoid the issues like warpage, shrinkage, sink marks. You can avoid that issue if you are able to cool down the mold very easily. In this tooling industry, we are able to design a cooling channel along with the profile of the part, or along with the profile of the insert. Again, the cooling channel are simulated in particular software. You cannot just design as per the profile and you can manufacture the part. It's not like that. There is some simulations are there. So many geometrical aspect need to be considered. Cooling channel need to be considered. But yes, once you are able to design the proper cooling channels with along with the profile of the part, then metal 3D printing will give you the parts exactly the same what you have designed. And in tooling industry nowadays, people are using this technology where complex shapes are there, like in automotive, headlight, dashboard, chassis, tail lights, fixtures are there. Any fixture you can take, tail, any parts you can take. So far they used to get the, most of the times they used to get the rejection, warpage issue, shrinkage issue, cooling time, cycle times, but all these issues get resolved in this tooling industry by using this technology. So in Maraging steel, there is a material called tool steel or Maraging steel. It's M300 grade material. We use most of the time for tooling applications, which is very hard material, and which very high wear and tear, wear resistance. So you can use this material for cooling applications. And definitely you will able to save your 60-70% cycle time as compared to the conventional manufacturing. Medical and healthcare in India, because of the limitations, of the surgeries, medical is an important application in 3D printing, where you can manufacture the actual cranial implant of the patient. You understand? You just think each patient has their own requirement of the implant. Each patient has their own challenges and the problems. So volume is very less. In fact, only one time you need to manufacture that implant, because of it's a patient specific. So conventional manufacturing is very challenging at the moment. People are still managing that things, but if they are using the 3D printing, then their life is easier than the conventional way. Imagine cranial implants. Cranial implant, we have, you can see in the left hand side there is a cranial implant. Sorry. So in cranial implant, you will able to get exactly the same implant what your patient is required. For example, the affected area, I will explain you the process how it get manufactured. The affected area get scanned through the CT scan data. Through the scan, you will get a CT scan format, data in CT scan format. You need to convert that CT scan format into the 3D format, and through 3D format you can print that part into the metal 3D printing in titanium material, or if it is dental part, then it is in cobalt chrome. It is in maxillofacial part, then it is in titanium, which is very lightweight. So once you get the design from CT scan data, you will immediately print that part into the machine, and after that you require to sterilize that part in post processing, remove the support, sterilize that part, and directly apply onto the surgery. In conventional way, it's very challenging. For example, conventional way, doctor take the actual geometry from the affected area of the patient, then he asks person to design the part, then designer manufacture the parts in conventional way, and then he took to the doctor. and doctor again verify with the patient if it is corrected or it need require a more most post process. Then again patient will suffer that things. In this case it's not like that, you will get exactly the same, almost 100% accurate part. So you can, patient is suffer very less in this case. If at all the cost is slightly more than the conventional way, but patient can suffer very less. So more beneficial in 3D printing way. In dental also, crown, bridges, partial denture, you can manufacture in one go on 3D printing and directly apply onto the patients after the complete post process. So medical is again an emerging applications where volume is very less and cost is very high. So this is one of the example of you can say the topological optimization or a design optimization. We able to manufacture 320 parts in a one single go in 19 hours. Just imagine in 19 hours in our high-end machine. I'm talking about our high-end machine, which is having a four laser simultaneously, as I shown the video in the earlier. So that was our four laser machine. That is the reason we able to manufacture the entire 320 parts in just 19 hours. So if we calculate all the resources, consider all the things, it will cost you 385 rupees plus taxes. That's it. So it's very economical. But you need to understand the application first. It's not suitable for each and every application. We call it as a stack building, one above the other. You can see we have stacked the entire thing and this has occupied the entire build. So this is one of the unique application in 3D printing. I would like to explain one of the recent case study what we have done in our Pune facility. There was a challenge from the hydraulic industry where the overall weight of their part is around 7 to 8 kg, and pressure drop was huge. So we have shortlisted that case study to manufacture through 3D printing. So we have decided to take as a case study. So in the left hand side you can see the conventional manifold. This manifold is manufactured through conventional manufacturing. That is the reason you can see the entire block, some holes are there, mounting holes are there. But if you can redesign it, you can redesign it and remove the unwanted material through your experience or through the software with the help of CAD software. Because I don't have any challenges in 3D printing. In conventional, removing material is challenging. In additive, addition of material is challenging. So minimum material is a very useful in additive manufacturing as compared to the conventional one. So in conventional manufacturing, just because of the removal of the material is a challenging, this is a solid block. But if you want to design for 3D printing, I would have designed in a middle one. See the middle one. I have designed, I have removed the unwanted material. If you can see the mounting holes are same. Mounting holes are same, application are same. It is more useful or more better than the conventional one because it is license weight. I have removed the unwanted material and then I come to this design. And after post processing, like some machining, if you see the middle part and the after post processing part, you will understand we have done machining on the after post processing part on the extreme right hand side. We have where in middle part you can see the square are there at the place of mounting hole, but in post processing we have circular it to the machining, so it get mounted as an where it required. But if you can see the benefit, we will see now. See, initially the volume was 875 cubic centimeter in conventional and weight was 7 kg. In 3D printing, the volume was just 280 cubic centimeter because I need to print what I required. Unwanted material has already removed. So my weight of the part is 2.2 kg. So weight reduction is 68% as an build without post process. But I post process it, then see if I post process it, then see the weight of the part is just 247 cubic centimeter, less than volume is 247 and weight is around 2 kg. So overall weight reduction from the conventional 7 kg to 2 kg. Excuse me.
Yes.
So sorry. Huh. So pressure drop has been reduced by 30%. So this exercise we have done in our Pune facility. So you need to understand where you can use the design for optimization and remove the unwanted material which is suitable for 3D printing. This way you can use the 3D printing. Otherwise, you will feel that this technology is very expensive and not useful for day-in-day operation. But it's not like that. If you understand this technology thoroughly, then you will start taking interest in this thing, and you apply this technology in your day in day out application as well. As I said, high value and the less volume. You can see the industry wise. Now this is a graph which demonstrate that industry wise use of this technology, where motorsport has the less volume, mass is very less, but cost is very high. So that is the thing we can use this technology. In space also, you need not manufacture the thousands of part or thousands of space application center parts, but volume is less. That is the reason you can use this technology in aerospace also. But if you can use in day out operation, then your cost will be huge. So that is the reason if your volume is more, so I'll suggest go with the subtractive one like sand casting or any other metal casting or die casting, injection molding or like that. So far we have launched this machine in the last year also. This is all our latest machine. 500Q is stand for 4 lasers. 500E is our entry level machine, or that's a standard or average machine, which is now so far in Renishaw has launched recently. And the 500M stand for manufacturing series or production series. So where all the machines has their own uniqueness. For example, if you want a 500Q, then your volume should be more, and this is a more or less designed for the large production series thing. If you want to produce the multiple parts in a single material, then this machine is best suitable. But for research or education, or if you want to change the material very frequently, then you can use the 500E. In metal, Renishaw's machines are uh, easy to operate and very flexible to use the number of material. For example, today if you are using aluminum in the machine, in the evening you want to change that material and you want to load um, stainless steel in that machine, then still you can able to do that, because changing material is very easy in our 500E series machine. It is designed for research and day in day out application purpose. Technology remains same throughout all our machines. And let's say tomorrow you want to use this machine for the different application like aerospace, and you want to load the titanium part, then you can do it in 500E. But in 500Q, because of complete automation system, changing the material is quite cumbersome. So that is the reason 500Q is the best suitable for single material. If we want to run the entire year just in stainless steel, then I'll suggest think about 500E. But in 500E, it's quite easy. Any doubts so far? Because I have completed the entire things like product presentations or just a minute. Hmm. So I'll just give you the brief explanation about our 500E. In 500E, uh, we can monitor each and every layer of manufacturing through our external software. You can monitor whatever you are printing. For example, there is inbuilt software is there, inbuilt cameras are there. You can see on your computer screen what exactly going on inside the machine. By any layer, if you have any doubts, immediately you can pause the machine and correct those things and run the part again, or load the different part if you found any problem in that things. So you can monitor the entire thing in our Infinium software. This is the uniqueness of 500E as compared to the any other competitive machines. This is again one ancillary is there. Specifically, I'd like to explain you this because of you are from the educational background or the research background. For example, you have a bed size of 250 by 250 by 350 mm, but you want to use this machine for research purpose where your volume is very less. You want to save your entire powder and the time required for manufacturing. Then you can use this ancillary. You can fit this ancillary inside the machine. This is just a 80 by 80 by 80 cubic size ancillary is there, which will able to give you the print a smaller size part without using the entire bed. You can use these ancillaries and fit into the machine. This is addition to the machine. This is not along with the machine. You need to purchase separately if you required, and if you have the more research work, then you can save your entire time, entire material cost, and all that things. So that is the reason this is again uniqueness from the competition. No one can design, no one has this ancillaries with themselves apart from the Renishaw. So this is all about the 500E or metal 3D printing, and I have covered almost my session. So if anyone has any doubt on this thing, please ask me. I'm just going through the chat box now.
Thank you, Amit.
Any doubt, sir?
Thank you very much
Please.
for the wonderful session.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, of course, I think there will be some questions. So first of all, I would like to ask that uh, how does the metal 3D printing it compares with the conventional powder metallurgy products? If you can share some information on onto that.
Yes, sir. Surely, sir. In metal 3D printing, the thing is that in conventional powder metallurgy product, you can get that easily from the market. But in this thing, for example, to manufacture the powder, there is gas atomized powder. That is the basic thing, which is nowadays very few manufacturers then across the world. So uniqueness of this technology, you need to get that powder through gas atomized powder only. Then and only then you can manufacture, or you can able to melt that powder and solidify that powder. In conventional metallurgy, I'm sure this will not be the process. And again, the applications are very rare in this application, in this metal 3D printing. And conventionally, I think there is a limitation of the sizes, as limitation of overall part remove, support removal or material removal would be there. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think there is problem at my end, internet.
Okay.
I maybe I couldn't listen it. Chat.
So, sir, your voice is, I'm not getting your voice clearly.
Okay.
Any other questions, sir? Sir, where you, there was one question where we use the 500 em. 500 em you can use in production series, where you can, you need to manufacture the entire thing in the same material because of the automations. AM stand for additive manufacturing. You can drop the question in the chat box. I'm just going through that. Yes, any software must be having the, you can export the file into the STL format, and any software is having that. I think GraphCAD is quite, GraphCAD is the best one. I'm not sure about the Cura software, but GraphCAD I used frequently. So you can select, you can go with the GraphCAD. It's depend on the material. See, in maximal temperature you can go. It's depend on how much temperature you require to melt the part. It depends on the material, not about the machine or not about the laser. For example, for titanium also we can go the maximum temperature of 1600 or 1700 degrees Celsius. It's more or less, it depends on the material what you are using. It's not about the machine. Yes, it is. GraphCAD is required to convert the CAD file into the STL. Any CAD for, you can take any, you can take any CAD format and you can convert into the STL. There is no any laser limitation of the temperature as long as your material is allowing you. Which tool is more rigid? One as manufactured through conventional. Which tool is... I didn't get you. Which tool means Abhinandan? I didn't get you.
Actually, he is saying about which product is more rigid. Yeah, strength of the product.
Strength of the part. See, actually, that's a good question. I forgot to mention this question. Um, in conventional manufacturing, we can say, means we have tested as well, the part which printed through metal 3D printing is better than the casting, and it's slightly lower than forging, but it's not equal to the forging. The rigidity, strength, it's better than the casting. The strength of the parts, the rigidity of the parts, it's almost better than casting and slightly lower than forging, but it's not equal to the forging. How can we achieve? Yes, you can achieve the 1670 degrees Celsius during the it's all about the how you fire and how much time you require to fire the laser. We use a 400 degrees Celsius laser or a 500 wattage of the laser, 500 wattage of the laser or 400 wattage of the laser. You can achieve the temperature by allowing laser to solidify the powder. Means you can select the time, how much time you require to solidify that particular part. It's very nanosecond in this case. If you melt the stainless steel aluminum, the laser exposure is very minimum, very minimum. It is in nanosecond. Can you imagine if you increase the time to expose the laser, exposure of laser, if you increase, then you can increase the temperature as well. Harshit, I hope you got my answer. Machine is a single phase, very less. In a day, you can able to convince per hour. You can say 1 unit. It's a single phase machine, so there is no any power consumption issue. Only our 500Q machine is a 3 phase, but our regular entry level machine is a single phase. Very less consumption of electricity. Next question, please. What the common problem we are facing? Common problem is the removal of support and post process. Because if you are not able to remove the support, then you cannot manufacture that part. And size I think that size is the limitation, not problems. But as I explained, if you can split the parts into the number of halves, then you can also overcome these problems. Q means quad laser. 500Q means quad laser, 4 lasers. 4 lasers are working simultaneously.
Amit, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hello.
Yeah. So, what is the typical range of materials like steels or titanium, nickel? What is the typical range of material which is now commercially covered metal additive manufacturing?
You are asking a cost or what, sir?
No, not the cost. I mean the
Range.
functionality point of view. Yeah, what materials are now covered basically?
So, sir, so far in the stainless steel grade, we have 4 to 5 materials are available. In aluminum, we have 2, 3 aluminums grade are available. In titanium, there is only a single titanium is available. Range wise, nowadays, day in day out, new materials get added into the portfolio. But so far, it's very limited in range.
Okay.
Commercially also,
So there is
there
a
are the
question
new
in the chat box.
machine can be out of. Yes, it's like plastic only.
Okay.
Like, sir, one question, sir. Do you have any plastic machine in house?
Yeah, we do have. Yes, we do have.
Which one, sir?
Uh, Abhishek. Abhishek?
Sir, hello.
Yeah, so can you elaborate which machine we do have, the polymer one?
Sir, we have a FDM based printer, or it is normal printer manufactured through 3D Printronics.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
So size
Yeah,
of
it
the
is a
part.
Its
basic
size
one.
is
Basic.
150 by 150 mm, and
Okay,
we are
wow.
just printing PLA and ABS PETG material on that.
Okay, got
Yeah.
it, Abhishek.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next question is, I think, length, width, and height. So height is around 235 mm, and height in 500E, it's a 335 mm in height and 245 by 245 in length and width.
Question on auto off as well. Auto off.
Yes, I answered that question. It is auto off, sir. Automatically it gets shut down, sir.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Huh,
I have one question.
please.
Uh, what is the difference if a material is manufactured through CNC and the
Hmm.
same material is manufactured by the 3D metal printing? So, how properties will vary, like
You are
mechanical?
asking material. You are asking material, na? You're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
asking the part, right? You're asking material.
yeah. If we prepare a part
Part.
through
He's asking
same
part,
part,
I think.
yeah.
Part.
If I make a part, suppose a piston component, so
Hmm.
how the properties will vary. It is made up of CNC and it is made up of metal printing. So will it same or there is difference, sir?
See, actually, practically speaking, it is almost closer to the CNC block manufacture, what you manufacture through conventional way or through 3D printing. Because in some cases, as I said, most in some cases, if you manufacture through metal 3D printing, you will get a better mechanical properties. For example, titanium. You take an example of titanium. You do the
Yeah.
titanium in conventional way. I'm sure you will get a better mechanical properties in metal 3D printing because of exposure to the external environment
Mm-hmm.
while manufacturing the part. That in metal 3D printing, it is a closed and controlled environment. In externally, in conventional way, it's exposed to the external environment. I can suggest, or I believe that the metal 3D printing is a you will get a better mechanical properties in closed environment. But
Okay,
it's not
and sir,
happen.
if
It's not in regular cases.
okay, sir, if we maintain the same environment in traditional manufacturing, CNC machine, and in metal printing, so
Mhm.
if what kind of strength we get, they are same or they have some difference?
We have compared this thing in past as well. For example,
Yeah,
customer is directly comparing the CNC manufactured part with the these things. For example, he was tensile strength.
yeah,
He want a particular tensile strength through any other manufacturing like conventional or metal. In
yeah,
conventional, if he able to get that much of tensile strength, we have observed that in metal also he used to get or he will get the same tensile strength through the conventional through the metal 3D printing as well. As I said, our metal 3D printing is a better than casting, but not equal to the forging. And in
okay,
CNC block, in some cases, whatever the tensile strength you require, you can achieve through metal 3D printing. But we cannot guarantee it at the moment that metal 3D printing is better than CNC. We cannot guarantee it. It depends on application as well.
okay. Thank you, sir.
It depends on the application. As I said, you can do the titanium on conventional way. I'm sure that you will get better mechanical properties in 3D printing.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Is 3D printing the future of sustainable? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is a sustainable manufacturing. There are so many benefits of 3D printings are there with compared to the conventional one. So I think it is sustainable. Yes, Abhinandan, you have raised the hand.
Sir, can we use tungsten material for metal 3D printing? Because it has very high temperature melting point, like more than 3500 degrees centigrade. So
You can use tungsten metal for 3D printing, but you need to optimize the entire process flow for tungsten. For example, if any new material comes, it need to go through the optimization cycle. Number of tests would be there. We haven't used these things because whenever we want to use the new material in our portfolio, then initially we take a number of trials on that, because you need to optimize your machine parameter according to the material. For example, laser power, laser exposures, material thickness, material size, entire thing you need to monitor. If you able to control the temperature or control the environment, as long as you can control, you can use anything. Even in some cases in the UK, people are using a gold for 3D printing. There is only one machine in the world who is using the gold for 3D printing, because for gold it required to maintain the controller like anything on manage the wastage of the powder. As long as you can optimize your machine for 3D printing, or optimize your complete process or parameters to melt the material, you can melt anything. Like I said, you can, basic criteria is the powder should be in the raw material should be in the powder form, it should be weldable, and it should be meltable. These are the basic thing. As long as you can able to achieve this thing, you can melt anything.
thank you, sir.
Temperature is the essential thing in the metal 3D printing, because everything exposed to the laser. So you need to maintain the parameter in such a way that you can control the environment. If it is not, the blast would be there. That is a
Amit?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you continue. I will then speak later. You complete your statement.
No, I see one question in the chat box. Marfo Eager software. That is
Yeah, before that, I want to add something. Before that.
Please, sir.
Yeah, so this was this is with respect to the previous question, Abhishek's question about CNC and additive manufacturing. I wanted to add, but I was disconnected. Okay, so basically, what happens? First of all, as an engineer, we need to understand about the intricacies of each manufacturing process. That what exactly each manufacturing process does and how it does. For example, if we talk about CNC machining and we talk about the strength of the part, now the CNC machining by its own do not really alter the properties of the material under consideration. So say if it is a tool steel being machined or SS or MS, the material properties are largely unchanged. So the strength of the part essentially depends upon the original material properties more or less. Similarly, in forging, if we see the intricacies of the process, forging drastically changes the material properties. So depending upon whether we are doing the cold working or the hot working, like that. Casting is primarily just a solidification process. But if we talk about the additive manufacturing, in the additive manufacturing, there is a lot of local heating and local melting, local solidification. So these are the differences. So I just want to say that probably in a additive manufactured part, if we go on a larger magnification, probably porosity might be there. I mean,
Yes,
that
sir.
is just my observation.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
we have to convert the powder material in the powder shape also, powder form.
Yes, it's a gas atomized powder.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so basically we are fusing small powder particles together by their local melting. If we see if we do the macroscopic inspection of the product, it is definitely a continuum. But if we do a larger magnification, if we view the product under electron microscopes, SEM, etc., then probably the powder, the additive manufactured part might be incorporating some degree of porosity.
Sir, good point, sir. Just to add in your point, for example, if you observe any porosity in the under the microstructure, to avoid the porosity, there are some post process like heat treatment is there, annealing is there, quenching is there. To avoid the porosity or to remove the porosity, we usually do this operation for our medical applications, because in the medical application, implants you will not permit to give any kind of porosity. If it is that, then patient may get suffered. So that is the reason we do the post process to remove the porosity. Yes, there is a porosity observed during the manufacturing of 3D printing, but it can be removed through the post process. Sir is rightly said. Under the microscope or magnification glass, you can see the porosity, but there is a certain way to remove that porosity as well, where your component will get 100% solidified. We have achieved 99.95% porosity, solidify part out of the machine in our Pune facility, and we have tested that as well, and we have got certification from the lab called CSIR as well. That is government lab in Hyderabad. We have done number of projects. So there was one challenge that they want a complete solidify part out of the machine, not about the post process. Anyhow, post process you can remove that things, but as an build condition, they have a requirement of to manufacture 99% solid part. We did it that we achieved it 99.95%. Only 0.5% was the porosity, which was very minimal as compared to their expectation. So this is what it is.
Yeah. Okay, you can carry on with the chat box questions, Amit.
So Ankit have asked the Morphogiga software. That's a processing software, means CAD conversion into the programming. That's a programming software of Markforged. In our case, the software is Quant AM. I will just put into the chat box. Quant AM is our processing software. Quant AM. This is our processing software. This is Renishaw's in-house software, which is required to process the CAD data CAD data suitable for to manufacture the 3D printing. Like that, Marforge has the Eager software. Does metal printing have tools still? P20 P20 is not there, but ES13, ESS, and 420 is there. P20 also you can print if you have the raw material available. Then we can print that part as well. But so far we haven't received any requirement for P20, because our maraching steel or tool steel is a M300 grade, which is equivalent to the ES13. Stainless steel is there, 420 is also there. What should be the material powder specification? Actually, we have some prerequisite data. 25 to 45 micron is the requirement of the metal powder. The shape of that powder should be 25 to 45 micron with the different shape particles. And it should be the gas atomized powder only. There are only 5 to 6 major players in the world who manufacture the powder for metal 3D printing. Sandvik is a leader in that, and we have a global tie-up with Sandvik for this powder. Renishaw does not manufacture the powder in-house. We have a tie-up with Sandvik. Next question, please.
Material powder specifications, someone is asking.
Material powder, the powder size should be between 25 to 45 micron. It should be gas atomized, and like I said, there is some prerequisite which I can share if I get a chance later on. Then it should be gas atomized. There is a big list of prerequisite of the powder. So many factors are considered in that, but major factor I have said to you, it should be in 25 to 45 micron. It should be weldable. It should be in the powder form. It should be meltable. Majority precautions. Actually, the machine means most of the all 3D printing machine in metal, they are well, all the health measure is well taken for their operations. Like everything is controlled with the sensor. For example, if your door is not closed, then it will not get on. If your oxygen level is more, then it will not get on. Like that, if your door is open, then laser will not fire. Like this, there are so many things are considered while operating the machine. So I don't see any major precaution that you need to take care. Only thing, while operating the powder, excuse me, while operating the powder, you need to wear a complete PPE kit and your entire kit to keep away from the powder exposure. We take care that much of thing. Machine wise, everything is a control by software. There is no any worried like situations will create. So I don't see any challenge would be there. Yes, again a good question. What would be the defects can create powder added layers in the metal printing? Sometimes if you orient part in a wrong way, or if you select, for example, if you select the wrong layer thickness, or for example, you want a very fine part, and you have selected 60 micron layer thickness, then obviously you will not get that much of feature. And apart from that, support get away from the actual part because of the laser exposure. If you select the laser exposure in the wrong way, exposure time in the wrong way, if you given the more exposure time to the laser or less exposure time, then there is a chances of overburning the material or overburning the support. In this case, you will find the defect in the parts, or sometimes in the manufacturing itself, your exposure. So, for example, if you are printing a bigger part which occupies the entire bed, and your laser scanning strategy is wrong, then one of the area get cooled down as compared to the previous layer. In this case, your part get warpage. It get detect from the substrate. It happens very rarely, but I'm not sure if we haven't tried the nano chips by 3D printing. But as long as if it is in the desired material, you can do it. Apart from that, wall thickness is also play an important role in selection criteria. Wall thickness, you cannot go beyond 100 micron. Less than 100 micron, it would be very challenging. However, we have tried 50 micron as well. CAD models, I didn't get you what exactly the knowledge you want from the CAD model. I didn't get you, Subhash. CAD model, CAD model means any model you design into the computer. That's what the CAD is. Subhash, could you please brief your question again? What exactly you want to say? MediaTek chips which use in smartphone. I want to know about how is prepared or applied. See, yeah, there is no any specific requirement of designing a different CAD model for 3D printing. It's not like that. You can design the regular CAD models. Whatever you design, just do that design only. For 3D printing, only you need to convert that into the STL. That's it. Otherwise, there is no any specific requirement of design a separate CAD model for 3D printing. It's not like that. MediaTek chips which can be used in smartphone by 3D printer. Uh, I'm not sure about this because we haven't tried it. MediaTek. Minimum hole diameter is 10 micron. Abhinandan minimum hole diameter is 10 micron. Sorry, 10 mm, 10 mm, not 10 micron, 10 mm. Sir, I will also request you if it would be better for your final year students to undergo through the design for AM technology, because industries are expecting these people to know before they join any organization. They should know the design for additive manufacturing. It would be advantage for them. I
Okay.
suggest go to any, not necessary that you should go through the Renisho only. You can find out someone else who can give this training to your Delhi as well as Noida or somewhere else. But that is must, because I understand even Renisho also expect the same thing from the student, that they should be aware about the what are the constraints for metal AM, or what are the constraints for in conventional and additive manufacturing. If you are aware of that, na sir, that would be an advantage for your student.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. So, Renisha, I hope that conducts such courses.
Yes, yes, we used to conduct these courses, sir. Design
Okay.
for AM. In fact,
Okay.
we
Okay. Okay.
conduct this course for industry as well as the academics.
Okay. 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 So maybe later on through mail, if you can share more details, I will first browse myself, then I can share among the students and
Sh-
faculty members.
Sure, sir. Because why I'm saying is that in plastic nowadays it's more or less like a hobby printer. Any
Yeah.
even
Yes.
you need to understand the capability of metal AM, because everywhere you go you will find found, because users are growing day by day, applications are growing, and from aerospace to the medical, entire industry is already using this technology. And such a unique technology, very interesting one, challenging one, and new invention is almost welcome in this technology. So your student can avail this benefit. uh, Praval, you asked that below 10
Okay.
mm dia can be produced. Yes, it can be possible, but depends on the application and the orientation of the parts. There are some limitation as well. Not every part less than 10 die can print. Depends on material and applications. But yes, we have tried in past as well. And again, request to all students. If you want to ask me the question later on, you just drop me a mail or connect me through the LinkedIn. I am available on LinkedIn as well, with the same name, Amit Jadhav. Drop me a message on LinkedIn, or you mail me. I will able to answer your questions or able to help you as and when you required. I also look after the Delhi region as well, Delhi and Noida region. Whenever I'll be there, I'll try to visit your college as well.
Amit, in the Delhi region, has any educational institute installed a metal 3D printer in the Delhi NCR?
Not Renishaws, but some other manufacturer has already sold this machine to Delhi, sir.
Okay. Okay.
IIT Delhi must be having, sir.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, the government institution. Yeah, they have huge government funding. Yeah, they normally get it part of several projects. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, because for example, there are certain projects which are at Niti Aayog level. For example, one of the project was to identify a suitable alternate fuel, like biodiesel was a candidate, methanol, ethanol, but Niti Aayog later came with the dimethyl ether as a proposal. So when there are certain
okay.
projects at at government level, the policy level projects, they are normally given to
Mhm.
IITs, and there is a huge funding attached to the projects. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And one more thing, sir. Actually,
Yeah.
Abhinandan has asked me a question that how Renishaw is a differentiate from the competitors. Abhinandan, actually, Renishaw has started their journey very late into the Indian market as compared to the EOS or SLM. But I'm sure you, Renishaw's run rate business is a very great. And Miss Renishaw's technology is very unique. We have control with all our machines. For example, we have designed our own software, our own machine. We are not rely on any other external organization who can support us, and then we manufacture our machine. It's not like that. Renishaw is a very technologically expert in our, if you can see our rest of the product, for example, machine tool probe or CMM probe, we have more than 70% share across the world. So Renisha is trying to be leader in any technology where they have chosen. So additive wise also, we are growing in such a way that we will be leader very soon. For example, our machines are very flexible. Those who are using our machine, they can easily differentiate between Renisha and the competitor. Very user friendly, cost is very less, and most of the times in metal, most of the time in metal, if you get the things from the local market now, then your overall cost will get your machine will be very economical. We have given this chance to our customer. They can get the things from the local market and use that thing for their machine. For example, we does not restrict our customer to use the only Renishaw supplied powder. We ask our customer, for example, if they are getting a very they are getting powder which is very cheap into the market, only we share the specification, then they can use. Machine warranty does not get collapse with the any external material if you use into the machine. We are always there to support you. Support wise, Renishaw is always number one for rest of the product and AM as well. If you in last 3 years we have sold almost 6 machines in India, 6 machine in just last 2.5 years. And if we go with the same run rate, definitely in 10 years we'll able to sell around 20-30 machines within 5 years as well. But Renishaw's machines are very flexible, very easy to handle, and we have done maximum localizations to customer get the benefit of it. That's it. And because I'm in this industry from last 10 years, I have handled each and every machine. Even previously also I have used to work on EOS machine. I am well aware about the SLM machines. Plastic, I know. I know the support is the essential thing in the metal AM, and Renishaw is doing that. So that is the reason very soon Renishaw will be the leader in Indian market. LinkedIn ID, you can put Amit Jadhav Renishaw, then you will get my name. Amit Jadhav Renishaw, if you put na, you will get my name on LinkedIn. Otherwise, I will share. Renishaw do hire the interns every year. Every July, we hire the interns from the industry, from the education. There are equal opportunities to all students. We post this thing on our website that we are hiring the interns, and we invite the application for the same. We have almost 10 different branches are there in Renishaw vertical. 10 different product units are there. For AM also, we hire the interns. If it is there, I'll definitely inform Sharma sir. Then you can send your application for that. But we don't directly hire from the for the full-time employee. You need to go through the internships, and then we hire the people. But believe me, best place to work, the complete engineering things, highly engineers product line.
Yeah, that will be great if they can do the internship itself. Yeah, it is. It will be a great value addition in their CV.
Sure, sir. Sure. Definitely, sir. And sir, nowadays, one more thing I forgot to ask you, just because of Ankit has asked, so I could stress on it. Nowadays, so many service bureau are coming to India, or so many manufacturers are coming to India for metal or plastic 3D printing.
Yes.
So there will be huge opportunity across the region in India. In fact, so many companies are
Yes.
decided to start.
Yeah.
For example, Eaton, Honeywell, DRDO, DRL, government, or Eaton, Honeywell, Whirlpool. You can take a big name. They have decided to set up their internal additive manufacturing labs, and for that they require this expertise. Apart from the design, if you have this knowledge now,
Yes.
then
Yeah.
you can easily grab this opportunity, sir.
Yes, therefore, I normally keep on telling the students that if they really want to improve their employability, because we all know that the employability of fresh engineers is very low. So if a mechanical engineer or automobile engineer has to improve his employability, he should be equipped with such skills like this CAD modeling, analysis, finite element analysis, CFD, and robotics, mechatronics, and of course the additive manufacturing. Yeah.
Hmm.
So definitely, yeah, there is a value addition, and otherwise there is a if if the candidate is just fresher and goes in a typical production firm, there is a huge exploitation in the market. So candidate
And
has to stand apart.
so your voice is gone.
Yeah. Hello.
Now it's audible, sir.
Yeah, I was saying, yeah, definitely this is if the students can equip themselves with such skills, yeah. So this is a great value addition in their CV.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think
And
now we can wind up this session.
yes, sir.
So thank you, Amit. Thank you very much for this a
Yes, sir.
wonderful presentation on metal additive manufacturing. So within the manufacturing processes domain, this is still very niche area, and
Yes, sir.
there is a lot of potential in this technique. Of course, the industry will take their own mileage in a period of time, and the academia can definitely take their own mileage. Yeah. So thank you very much, Amit. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Most
Okay.
welcome,
So
sir.
everyone, we are now breaking this session. So for the students join at 12 for the second part of the session. Thank you, Amit. Thank you very much. Goodbye, all.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
अभिषेक फिर नेक्स्ट सेशन तुम कंटिन्यू कर लेना 12 o'clock से.
Okay, sir. I'll continue. Okay.
हाँ.
ठीक है.
ठीक
सर
है, चलो नाउ आई एम एंडिंग. मैं इस मीटिंग को लीव कर रहा हूँ नाउ. ठीक
सर
है,
वो
तो तुम कंटिन्यू कर लेना
सर
अभिषेक.
सर वो
और
आप कनेक्ट कर
just
देना.
a moment, मुझे एक बार रिकॉर्डिंग. नहीं, मैं लीव करूंगा, मैं इसको एंड नहीं कर रहा. लेट मी फर्स्ट, शुड आई पॉज द रिकॉर्डिंग और स्टॉप रिकॉर्डिंग? मैं स्टॉप ही कर देता हूँ इसको, तुम फ्रेश रिकॉर्डिंग स्टार्ट कर लेना.
ठीक है, ओके.
ये सर अभिषेक सर सॉफ्टवेयर